come one day after children were seen in Karachi, Pakistan, being taught hate-filled lessons. Watch. That's Pakistan. An ally, technically. Little school children holding signs repeating after an adult with slogans like, "Death to America," "Any friend of America is a traitor," "Punish the blasphemer," and "Death is acceptable in saving the honor of the prophet." Look at this. We got bigger problems than school children being told who to vote for in this election, folks. These kids appear to be between the ages of 6 and 8. There did not appear to be any parents there, just a few teachers. We understand Pakistani parents are not informed of every event organized by a school, so no way of knowing whether they would approve of this, but it certainly looks like it's par for the course over in Pakistan today. Unbelievable. President Obama, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton now being featured elsewhere in Pakistan in a television ad denouncing the anti-Islam video clip that is being blamed for many of these protests overseas.
Since our founding, the United States has been a nation that respects all faiths. We reject all efforts to denigrate the religious beliefs of others.
So who put up that ad, which cost about $70,000? You did. U.S. taxpayers are paying for this ad to air in Pakistan. Why? Well, we'll take a look at the critics who are questioning why American taxpayers are bankrolling this ad that essentially denounces free speech. Anger and frustration hitting the boiling point on Capitol Hill today over the Obama administration's handling of these attacks in Libya. For at least a week, the administration said that the attacks were spontaneous, not pre-planned, while blaming the violence on a film we've been talking about that is critical of Islam, excerpts of which were posted on the internet. Yesterday, the White House spokesman appeared to do a 180, saying now that it is, quote, self-evident that a terrorist attack is to blame for the death of 4 Americans on 9/11 in Libya. Members of the administration also held a series of closed-door briefings with lawmakers, including Secretary of State Hillary Clinton briefing the lawmakers to explain what happened. But after hearing the conflicting accounts, some of those lawmakers were not happy. Listen.
They still are blaming the video. It's not the video. It's the Islamists who are pushing this video throughout the internet, throughout the world, to inflame passions on the part of people of the Muslim faith so that they can spark not only these demonstrations, but eventually take over these countries. So to blame it on the video is a fundamental misunderstanding.
The story now has been changed. There was a planned, premeditated attack. When we put our people around the world at risk and don't provide adequate security, shame on us.
I was just on Sunday to hear Ambassador Rice talk about how somehow this was all the result of a YouTube video. This is about terrorists, Islamist terrorists in the Middle East and around the world that are looking for any and every opportunity to strike the United States and our interests.
20 minutes ago, I spoke with Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California, a member of the House Foreign Relations Committee. He was in that briefing yesterday. Joining me live, Republican Congressman Dana Rohrabacher from California, a member of the House Foreign Relations Committee. He was in that briefing yesterday. Sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I want to get your reaction now to those comments, because Secretary of State Hillary Clinton appeared before your group, tried to offer some intel on where they think this investigation is now. What can you share with us in terms of what you learned?
Well, by and large, it was a very top secret briefing, and very classified information was being given out. But what's most important is the attitude behind that information. As we can see, the president is bending over backwards, as he has been since the beginning of his administration, not to blame radical Islam, not to give them some sort of hateful or evil intentions, but giving them the benefit of the doubt. And this response to this attack, this murder of American diplomats on 9/11, and giving them the benefit of the doubt that it's not a terrorist attack, is just exemplifying the attitude of this administration.
But now they seem to be saying it is a terror attack.
Well, now, because they understand, the American people, as they get to understand what's going on here, are going to be mad as hell at this administration, because it's obvious that it's the attitude of this administration, starting the very first part of the administration where President Obama went on an apology tour of the Middle East, or couldn't get himself to complain about the mullah repression of their citizens when they were demonstrating, siding with all of the bad guys and treating the good guys there as if they were our enemy. These things all of those decisions are coming home to roost, and this makes it very clear to the American people the price we're paying for this projection of weakness.
Our own Catherine Harris reported earlier this week that there was no significant protest going on outside of the Libyan consulate at the time of this attack, and that would arguably undermine the notion that these murders were the product of a protest gone awry. Is that your information as well?
Listen, that was talked about at the briefing, and I can't talk about classified information, but I can tell you that no one in their right mind is going to believe that it was just a coincidence that on 9/11 you had these acts of violence erupting throughout the Middle East that resulted in the deaths. For our president to suggest that and to suggest that this was just a reaction to a film that had already been out for months shows you he's bending over backwards, and our enemies don't respect that, and the American people won't respect it either.
Let me ask you, sir, because this is an election year, and that complicates these things, unfortunately. And, there has been a question about whether this administration has been playing politics with the matter of national security in the wake of what we saw on 9/11, not just in Libya, but in several places across the globe. Now, you're a Republican, and you have a different goal than President Obama when it comes to who will win the White House come November. But I want to ask you if you think that politics are at play here in terms of the information that we, the American public, are being given, and you on the intel committees are being given.
No, I don't think that the president is playing politics. I think he's just dead wrong. He's an apologizing liberal, which projects weakness. These are the guys who are demanding we let people at Gitmo go, and now there have been reports that one of the prisoners at Gitmo, or several of them, were engaged in these attacks on our diplomats. It's not that the president's playing politics. He's just wrong. He's a liberal leftist apologist for radical Islam, thinking that's going to make the world safer and America more secure by making friends with our enemies and treating our friends as if they are our enemies.
Congressman, thank you. Well, while these protests grow across the Muslim world, the president has kept up a regular schedule of fundraisers and campaign stops and has not spoken to the events of last week since his spokesperson acknowledged it was a terror attack. In 3 minutes, Michael Reagan explains why he thinks it is time for Mr. Obama to stop and address the nation, and he'll show us how President Reagan handled a similar crisis. And California may be bleeding red ink, but we found one small town police chief in that state raking in a pension of more than $500,000 a year. Is that fair? We'll report, you decide.
I take insulin, so I test.